One of these Steam Decks cost hundreds less than the other, but the more expensive one has a screen so good it actually made me replay games I'd already finished before. Today guys, we're talking about the Steam Deck OLED versus the Steam Deck LCD. Let's answer the big question. Should you buy the Steam Deck OLED or just stick with the original Steam Deck LCD model? I've owned both, and after weeks of switching between the OLED and the LCD, I have some thoughts on this matter. So in this video, I'm going to cover the specs, the screen quality, performance, battery life, weight, gaming experience, and of course the price, so you can decide which one is right for you. And yes, I'll also tell you which one I'm keeping alongside my PS Portal. If you want to see my review on each of these devices separately, you can check out the links in description or here on the screen. First up, the specs and design of the Steam Deck OLED and the LCD. On paper, these two are very similar, yet very different. On the spec sheet, both models runs AMD's custom APU, but the OLED version has a slightly newer 6nm chip versus the original 7nm chip, meaning it's a little more efficient. When it comes to RAM, well, they both have 16GB RAM. Storage options are also very similar, though the OLED starts at 512GB in the most configurations, which is a nice bump up from the 64GB you get in the entry-level LCD. However, this base model is no longer available unless you buy it second-hand. The OLED model is about 30 grams lighter, and you can definitely feel it. It's also slightly more balanced in the hands, so long gaming sessions on the OLED is just less fatiguing. Design-wise, they both look great, but I have the OLED in this beautiful limited edition white color, which in my opinion is hands down the best design of the Steam Deck. It looks so clean and minimalistic. Other than that, the buttons on both the OLED and the LCD feel the same. The trackpads are solid and everything feels responsive to the touch. Now, screen size is where the differences really comes alive. You see, the OLED Steam Deck has a 7.4-inch HDR OLED panel compared to the 7-inch LCD on the original Steam Deck. That small size bump might not sound like much, but in handheld mode, it feels noticeably bigger. Now, colors on the OLED, they pop like crazy. Blacks are true black. The screen makes any game feel like a new experience. It's the vibrancy and color spectrum that really hits you. Also, the extra 4 inches does really help with the immersion. On the LCD, colors look a bit washed out in comparison, and black areas are more like dark gray. But this is in comparison. Whenever I use the LCD version by itself, I totally forgot about how the OLED version actually looked, and I got totally sucked into the games I was playing on the LCD version. Now, performance. The core gaming performance is largely the same, but the OLED model has 90 Hz, which can make games feel smoother compared to the 60 Hz of the LCD model. If you're someone who is used to high refresh rate gaming or high refresh rate devices, you would definitely appreciate this. Is this alone a massive difference? No, because you will need to find titles that can be pushed to those limits. Most often, I ended up keeping my frame rate to about 40 Hz on both models. The huge improvement actually comes from efficiency. The OLED model runs cooler and uses less power for the same performance. So in essence, you can push more hours of gaming on the OLED than you could do on the LCD. This is a big win for the OLED. That new chip plus the OLED screen means battery life is 30 to 50% better depending on the game. On the LCD model, I'd get maybe 2 to 3 hours playing something demanding like Elden Ring. On the OLED, however, I'm pushing 4+ hours with the same settings. For indie titles or streaming, I've even hit 7 to 8 hours on the OLED model. Now, both models play the same games, but the OLED makes them just look better and last longer and feel more premium. HDR adds depth to visual in ways the LCD just can't match. And don't forget, both models still support cloud gaming, Xbox streaming, PS remote play, and emulation. But playing retro games on OLED is just chef's kiss where you can push towards that 90Hz refresh rate. Price is the deciding factor for a lot of people. You see, the OLED starts around $550 for the base 512GB model, while the used LCD models can be found for as low as $300. The 256GB LCD Steam Deck was at $319 in October. If you were lucky enough to grab one, wow, what a deal. If you're on a budget, the LCD is still a great option. Same performance, cheaper entry point, but if you can stretch your budget, the OLED's better screen, longer battery life, and lighter weight might make it worth it for you. Now, with all that said, which one am I going to keep? The OLED or the LCD? Well, for me, it is gonna be the Steam Deck LCD. This thing is just so much of a value. It will be crazy for me to pay the double, almost triple the price for the limited edition white version of the OLED, no matter how insanely gorgeous it might look. If you game a lot handheld and have the cash to spare, sure, the OLED is objectively a better device, but I have the PS Portal as well, and whenever I have used the LCD Steam Deck, I don't find myself missing the OLED screen or extra gaming hours at all. I can just switch between the LCD and my PS Portal. But that is just me. Which one would you choose? Let me know in the comment section, and if you like this video, don't forget to smash the like button, and hey, maybe even hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.